Do you think you already know the Strait of Hormuz? Maybe you know it from headlines, oil prices, naval tension, global anxiety, a narrow waterway where the world holds its breath. But beyond the maps, beyond the military analysis, beyond the crisis language of newsrooms, there is another Hormuz, a place of red mountains and rainbow earth, of salt caves, coral reefs, mangrove forests, wind towers, wooden ships, and villages that survive between mountain and sea. This is one of the most important corridors on Earth, a passage so narrow, yet so powerful, that nearly 1/5 of the world's oil and petroleum product consumption has moved through it in recent years. But this is not only a corridor of energy, it is a living world. A world shaped by pressure, geological pressure, environmental pressure, political pressure, and human pressure. This is not the strait you think you know. This is unreal Hormuz. Beneath these waters, life survives in conditions that would destroy many other reef systems. The Persian Gulf is one of the harshest marine environments on Earth. Its waters can become extremely hot in summer, highly saline, and intensely stressful for coral life. And yet, coral survives here. Scientific studies have found that Gulf corals can tolerate summer temperatures far higher than many corals elsewhere, with some reef environments facing water temperatures around 35 to 37 degrees Celsius during extreme events. But survival here is not easy. Bleaching, mortality, recovery, collapse, adaptation. The coral reefs of this region are not lush tropical fantasies. They are biological survivors. Every living coral here carries a message from the future. If the oceans continue to warm, the world may look to places like the Gulf to understand how life adapts at the edge of possibility. On the northern side of Qeshm Island, where the tides breathe in and out, there is a forest that should almost not exist. The Hara Mangrove Forest grows in salt water. At high tide, the trees appear to float. At low tide, their roots rise from the mud like a hidden architecture. This UNESCO Biosphere Reserve is one of Iran's key coastal ecosystems, known for its Avicennia mangroves and rich biodiversity. These trees are not just trees. They are filters, nurseries, barriers, shelters. They protect coastlines, host birds and marine life, and turn harsh saline water into a living habitat. In a region defined by heat, dryness, and salt, Hara is proof that life does not always need softness. Sometimes life is born from resistance. Then comes Hormuz Island. Small in size, massive in meaning. This island sits near one of the world's most strategic maritime passages, but on land, it feels almost like another planet. Red beaches, rainbow mountains, white salt hills, mineral valleys glowing beneath the sun. Hormuz is shaped by salt dome geology, where deep salt layers rise upward over immense time, carrying minerals toward the surface and creating surreal colors in the landscape. Similar salt dome processes are also central to the geology of nearby Qeshm's Namakdan salt complex. The famous red soil of Hormuz is rich in iron oxide. During rainfall, red sediment can wash toward the sea, turning parts of the shoreline crimson, a natural phenomenon reported in recent years on the island's red beach. To outsiders, it looks unreal. To locals, it is home. The island is not simply beautiful, it is mineral memory, a record of pressure, heat, salt, and time. is the largest island in the Persian Gulf and one of the region's great geological archives. Its landscapes are not smooth. They are carved, collapsed, lifted, eroded. Qeshm Island is recognized as a UNESCO Global Geopark, with geological formations shaped by salt movement, erosion, and ancient sedimentary layers. Its Namekdan salt complex includes salt flats, springs, sinkholes, and the Namekdan Salt Cave, described by UNESCO as a 7-kilometer chasm of multicolored galleries and salt crystals. Here, time is visible. It is written in cliffs, in caves, in stone corridors, in valleys that look like they were sculpted by another world. Qeshm is not just a travel destination. It is Earth showing its bones. In Laft Village, survival is built into the skyline. The towers rising above the rooftops are called Badgir, windcatchers. Before electricity, before modern cooling systems, people here learned how to work with wind. A Badgir captures air and directs it into homes, creating natural ventilation in extreme heat. Laft is known for these windcatchers, along with traditional water reservoirs and maritime heritage. This is not decoration, it is climate intelligence. Every tower is a lesson, every wall is a response, every courtyard is designed for shade, air, and survival. In places like Laft, architecture is not only about beauty, it is about staying alive. Along the Gulf Coast, another form of knowledge is disappearing, the knowledge of the Lenj. For generations, Iranian Lenj boats were hand-built for trade, fishing, pearl diving, and sea journeys across the Persian Gulf. UNESCO recognizes the traditional skills of building and sailing Iranian Lenj boats as intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding. These boats were not just transport, they were memory made of wood. Builders understood the sea through experience. Sailors read stars, currents, depth, wind, and weather. Communities lived by routes that were never only economic, they were cultural arteries. But modern materials and fiberglass vessels have changed the coastline. Wooden Lenj workshops have become rarer, and the old skills are fading. When a Lenj disappears, a boat is not the only thing lost. A language of hands disappears. A rhythm of tools disappears. A maritime memory disappears. On Hormuz, color is not only geology, it is culture. The island's minerals have shaped the way people see the world in clothing, food, art, craft, and memory. Women of Hormuz have played a powerful role in preserving local identity through handmade crafts, colorful textiles, traditional masks, food culture, and community storytelling. The island's red ochre soil, often called gelak locally, is known for its strong color and has been used in pigments and local traditions. Reports also describe its use in local food practices and traditional products. But this scene must be filmed with respect, not as exotic decoration, as human dignity. These women are not background characters in a colorful island story. They are keepers of memory, makers of identity, artists of survival. Across the water, on Oman's Musandam Peninsula, another hidden world faces the strait. Kumzar, a village pressed between mountain and sea. There are places you reach by road, and there are places you reach only by water. Kumzar is known as an isolated coastal village near the Strait of Hormuz, accessible mainly by boat. Its people speak Kumzari, a vulnerable Iranian language with only a few thousand speakers, connected to the long maritime history of the region. This is what makes Hormuz more than geography. The strait is not a line separating worlds. It is a meeting point. Persian, Arab, Baluch Indian Ocean, African, and Gulf histories have moved through these waters for centuries. Ships carried goods, families carried stories, languages carried memory. In Kumzar, the sea is not scenery, it is the road, the marketplace, the border, the danger, the inheritance. From far away, the Strait of Hormuz is often reduced to one question. What happens if it closes? That question matters. This corridor is one of the world's most important energy choke points. The U.S. Energy Information Administration reports that flows through the strait in 2024 and early 2025 represented over 1/4 of global seaborne oil trade, and about 1/5 of global oil and petroleum product consumption. Around 1/5 of global LNG trade also moved through the strait in 2024, much of it from Qatar. The International Energy Agency also describes the strait as critical to crude exports, with nearly 15 million barrels per day of crude passing through in 2025. But for the people who live here, the strait is not only a choke point. It is morning light on fishing nets. It is salt on skim. It is wind entering a Badgir tower. It is a mangrove root rising from mud. It is a wooden boat half built by an aging craftsman. It is a grandmother's recipe. It is a language spoken by the sea. The world sees dependency. Locals live existence. And between those two realities, Hormuz waits. The Strait of Hormuz is more than a headline. It is not only oil, not only tension, not only ships. It is coral that survives impossible heat, mangroves that turn salt into shelter, mountains painted by minerals, villages cooled by wind, boats shaped by memory, women preserving color and identity, languages surviving at the edge of the sea. This is where the world's dependence meets local endurance, where geology becomes culture, where climate becomes architecture, where pressure becomes survival. So the next time you hear the name Hormuz, do not imagine only crisis. Imagine a living system, ancient, fragile, strategic, beautiful, unreal. This is not the strait you think you know. This is Unreal Hormuz. Like, share, and subscribe for more cinematic travel documentaries exploring the world's most hidden and extraordinary places.